All right, well, let's move on to the next topic on the agenda, which is our safety report, and that is a status report on Albuquerque airspace by Beth. I know she's here somewhere. Ah, there we go. All yours, Beth.
Okay, the title up here is what I'm also going to be talking about at the safety seminar on Tuesday, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it today. I want to give you a little bit of background, and by now pretty much everybody knows what's going on. It's been all over social media and people been sniping at each other, which I hope ends soon. Anyway, background is only last month, I told everyone about an agreement that we had made with approach control about getting a deviation from the ADSB and the transponder requirements. Well, that didn't last very long. Soon afterwards, there was what was thought to be a close encounter with a balloon and a jet taking off from the International. Eventually, after they talked to the pilot, it wasn't that close. He wasn't stressed about it at all. All he saw was a balloon, and he saw it in plenty of time, 5 miles, and he just wanted to deviate around it so that he wouldn't go over the top of it. He didn't know how close he could get before the wake turbulence would be an issue. So it was a non-issue. But already by then, the approach control tower departure people had started thinking about the consequences if there were a balloon and particularly a jet incident. And because it's so much more crowded now, because they're flying so much closer, they decided that for now at least, there is no flying for balloons in the Class C airspace, period, unless you are equipped with ADSB. And at the moment, some people have that in the works, but there's nothing imminent that we can do about this, especially not by the time Fiesta is over. So the FISDO is still trying to work out some details and see if we can come to a mutually agreeable, how to solve the issue of no balloons in the Class C airspace. And that's it. You can't go in there. If you do go in there, you better have an emergency and you better be able to justify it because you'll be talking to the FAA. If you do have to, because you have some sort of an emergency, you would still call approach control, tell them exactly where you are and what you intend to do, which is hopefully is land, because they will tell you exit immediately. Well, if you can't, you can't, but you will be talking to the FAA afterwards. Anyway, so the FISDO is still working on it. I personally am wondering how that would work to have ADSB on every balloon since it has to be permanently installed. That means I couldn't ever sell any of my balloons again. I'd have to keep on rebuilding them every time because otherwise I'd have to sell the equipment and get new equipment. And I personally can't afford that. I know a lot of other people can't either. So that's what we know so far. You cannot fly in the Class C airspace. Everyone knows we have the 5 mile ring, which goes down to the surface. So you can't go in there up to 10,000 feet. In the 10 mile ring around it, that doesn't start in anywhere that we would fly until 6,900 feet. So if you know you can fly underneath that and not get up that high, then you're fine. But you better not climb over 6,900 feet. Now, the last time I had to get a box, I had to go to 7,300. But we had an agreement then. You'll also notice that the Class C overlaps with Double Eagle's airspace. So in that area where they overlap, the Class Charlie, the Albuquerque International airspace takes precedent. And even there, you cannot go above 6,900 feet. And there will be a whole lot more about this on Tuesday, so if you want to know more, come to the safety seminar.
Question is that just during Fiesta?
That is just not during Fiesta. Fiesta has a waiver, and so we don't have to worry about the ADSB requirements during Balloon Fiesta. Any other time, until something gets worked out, something gets worked out, we cannot enter the Class C airspace.
So what you heard on the video is in effect during Fiesta, during the mornings, and only for those 9 days. If you're flying at 3 o'clock in the afternoon during those days, the waiver is not in effect. And if you're flying after the end of Fiesta, the waiver is not in effect. Any other questions? Okay, Dave would like to say something.
Yes. Been working on an ADS-B unit. I've got the prototype put together, got a battery, I've turned it on, it lights up, it's kind of neat. Talking with Vernon Rocket, who's at the FISDO Avionics, the initial reaction from the FISDO people is what Beth was talking about. Permanently installed, crash hardened, and fireproof. How fireproof is your wicker? Okay, how crash proof? So crash proof to a means 9G. Fireproof means fireproof, right? Doesn't really apply to balloons, and the good news is the FISDO agrees. The unit I have is for my aircraft, okay, because you have to have an N number in there. I also have the software to where I can change the N number in the machine. So when we're done with this, it's going to be a portable device that can go in any basket. Right now I've got it so we can install it on the side, a rechargeable 12-volt battery, et cetera, et cetera. But this is looking promising that in a few months, if nothing happens quick with the FAA, we'll have worked out something to where either ADS-B that is required will be available, or maybe some of this will go away. But we're going to run the experiment and see how much they like having it. All right. Price? Right now, the unit I have in my shop costs me $32.50. All right. That's before the battery. The battery is $35. Yes. There are some other people working the problem as well, and their price point, they're looking at maybe $2,500. All right. But again, there's nothing approved right now by the FAA as a portable unit or something you can actually install in a balloon basket. But that is what we're working. Yes, ma'am. It's bigger than a bread box. Oh, that's actually about the size. I actually bought a cutting board at Walmart to mount it on, and it's got 4 grommets. It's perfect, really. I'll have to show you guys a picture. I'll put it on my Facebook page, but it's 18 inches. Say it again. 15 by 13 according to the expert, and it weighs 10 pounds, something like that. Okay, so and the battery is a 6 amp hour. It should be plenty good for 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 hours. If I'm talking with a guy who's flown with ADS-B far more than I have. Okay, so anyway, we're making progress. People say, well, yeah, I can get an ADS-B for $500. That's ADS-B in. ADS-B in simply shows you everybody else. It does not broadcast your position. So an ADS-B out is a transponder with Mode C encryption. Mode C is altitude. Okay? So the unit is that I'm working with is a Garmin that is already approved for aviation use. So that's why I chose that. Plus the guy I'm working with in Alamosa is a guy that worked with Peter. So he already knows what we want. He flew with Sid Cutter. He's a great fan of ballooning, and he's planning on flying his fixed wing down here over the top of us on Saturday. So if you see an airplane up there, it's probably Mark Coleman from Alamosa. But anyway, so I think we're dealing with the right people who are very interested in solving this problem, and we've got something in the works. I've been meaning to send out a picture, and I will shortly.
Thank you, Dave. The proceeding was a paid, non-political announcement. Quad A does not certify in any way the validity of that equipment, but I'm sure it's really good.